It's on tape. They say your suffering is your fault. They counted their suffering a real suffering. But they didn't count our suffering a real suffering. And that's 400 years of propaganda. That's 400 years of brainwashing. Oh yeah, this isn't here?
War just for me to find peace. Fuck the police, they got the mark of the beast. I'm a 1-2-5, you could see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teach you fell in love with a priest. In a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Putting studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a 1 West nigga, you could check the receipts. Ask you where I'm from, so we came from the beach.
This is my shit I was exposed to.
Listen, man, subscribe, YouTube, Instagram. It's not TV, man. Not to my motherfucking boxing. He's dropping the most exclusive content that brothers all across the earth is here, man. Not TV. If you ain't subscribed, you ain't a real nigga.
Stay a couple of days, move in with a family friend. Promises for the first to pay you back on the third. Search for another house, they put our shit on the curb. Never uttered a word.
TV, nigga, we watch not TV around this house.
Yeah, my pops is a Rolling Stone. None was ever given. They said you get what you
get. My brother, man. Listen, one and only. If I could, you tell the people who you are, where you from?
Khan, I am Officer Yashikar Ban Yashikar.
I'm a 1-2-5, you could see me in the streets. Seen a nigga teach you fell in love with a priest. In a rush for the bread like we ain't got yeast. Putting studs on my garment, now I'm late to the feast. I'm a 1 West nigga, you could check the receipts. Ask me where I'm from, so we came from the east.
Where you from?
I'm from the Rio Grande Valley, El Valle.
Alright, so if I could, man, Yashikar by Yashikar, man. Tell the people where you come from, man. What was it like in Rio Grande?
Right, Khan, sir. So I come from Rio Grande Valley. It's Gulf Cartel territory. That's where everything handles. Like all our brothers, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we grew up in broken homes. My home was no different. I grew up hungry. I grew up homeless. I grew up wearing the same clothes 2-3 years. Damn. You know, out of everything, I had an off and on father. Mm-hmm. My father also worked for a cartel.
Oh, your pop worked for cartel?
Khan.
Damn, how that work?
Well, the brother, he got busted with 46 kilos of cocaine in Corpus Christi.
Damn.
He only lasted 1.5 years in jail, and they shipped us back his body. So that was at a young age. Since then, you know, I mean, my father, you know, we're destroyed because we don't know who we are, and Christianity and Catholicism, it destroyed us. So as it goes by, you know, growing up with a father, he was abusive. He beat me up, beat up my moms and all that. And you know, I wanted to be better than him with everything. Wanted to be a better father, a better fighter, a better drug dealer, a better killer, a better everything. I was gonna be better than him. And he died when I was maybe, I think like 18 or so. I was pretty young. But then again, he was never there in my life. And you know, like every brother starts off in the barrios, you know, started off with an eight ball, and you start, you know, doubling it, and that's how we go. Yeah, that's how we keep going. Now, I wasn't any big timer at first, you know, just little 8 balls and QPs, and you know, slanging nicks and dimes and 20s and all that, and just paying enough for the gas and all that.
Right.
But as time progressed, and one of my jobs, I hooked up with a brother. He's from Roma, Texas. And that brother was hooked up with some big timers. So they asked me if I wanted to work. So in one of those moments where I felt the anxiety, I couldn't come up with the bill. By then I was already married, 4 kids. I couldn't pay the light bill. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to do it. And so we went to Roma. From Roma to McAllen, it's an hour drive long. And I had a little 96 Honda. And I remember these brothers, we went to the spot. They took the Honda, and then they told it was like a little ranch over there. They told me to pick it up an hour later. So me and the homeboy went, we got it, and they took out the seats. They had some big old blocks. I don't want, like half of my size, big old stacas, homes, like pinches cuadros chingones, like hardcore. And I was like, fuck. But you know, you can't, you know, hey, I had to pay my light bill. We don't do this for fun. We do this out of necessity. Because we have to. Because the white man is the goddamn devil, leaves us no choice other than to go against their system. To go against the will of God, against his commandments. And I went not, but like every Christian and Catholic person was, I did the little cross and I prayed to the Lord to let me get away with this. I must have, I don't know, I don't want, so there's a car coming over here. I must have at least shit. at least 1,000 pounds. The trunk was full. Even the passenger seat, it had a big old block half of my size. I had to put the seatbelt on it so it won't fly off and all that.
Damn.
So as I was driving, I did my prayer.
You put the seatbelt on the bundle.
It was a block. I don't want a compressed block.
That's
like
crazy.
Hardcore, sir. So I put the seatbelt in. I started going. There was 2 new trucks, one in front of me, one behind me. And they said if the cops pop up that they were gonna do something, so they get him off my back.
Right.
And sure enough, it happened. State trooper right behind me. I was like, fuck, this is it.
Right.
And then the state trooper turns on the lights. And I was like, well, that's it. It's over. Us where we're from, I've been a mixed martial artist since I was, 19.
So this was in the U.S. or in Mexico?
No, this was in the Rio Grande Valley,
Okay,
U.S.
it was in the U.S.
Texas,
Okay.
Texas out of it. So, I trained all my life. And for us, most of us, going to prison is like the next step to being a man.
Right.
For us, you have to go to prison. I had to go to prison. I had to be my father. Prison was not going to kill me like it killed my father.
Right.
And so, I trained to fight it. I was a cage fighter for a while as well. But the Lord was merciful with me. That state trooper turned on the lights, and I said, that's it, it's over. I go to the shoulder. The state trooper stops the car right in front of me. Right in front of me. That vato would have been on the 10 o'clock news that day.
Yeah.
But he fucked up. He got the guy right. I know it was the Lord.
Right.
And I wanted to, I was on some suicidal shit. I was angry at the world.
Right.
I hated myself, so I hated everybody.
Right.
Everybody had to feel my pain. Everybody had to feel my anger. I wasn't going to be victim of the world anymore.
Right.
The world was going to be my victim. So I was ready for it. So, but the Lord wasn't having it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So then, I made it. The cop stopped the guy in front of me. I went. I dropped it off, and it got picked up. And, so then, I told the vatos that, you know what? I don't want to do it like this no more. You got any other job? And I had 2 storages in the back of my house, big storages and shit. They said, yeah, we need a storage house. Mm-hmm. So I had my own crew. I had at least 10 vatos, all, dickies and muscle shirt tattoos, pelones, bald-headed vatos.
Right.
And we was all down with it. We had a brotherhood, a worldly brotherhood.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like the UPK, the real brotherhood.
Right.
This was a worldly brotherhood where he could be your brother, but you still had to make sure that vato don't stab you in the back. You always had to. And I always kept my family away from everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we set up a meeting, and the vatos went over there, scoped out my house. I had 2 big storage rooms, pretty big ones. And they said, all right, let's do this. So, yeah, the next day, a big old van, the vatos called me down the street. There was a store. They said, hey, there's a van, this color in the parking lot. Go pick it up. So me and my homeboy went and picked it up. We went back to my crib, and we started unloading. I'm talking about some big old stacks, like from the floor to here. Fat, all ceramic wrap. They all had a code. They all had initials, and they were all weighted out. My job was to reweigh them to make sure that nobody was skimping them out and hold them. So after we unloaded the first van, I called the vato, and he's like, all right, hey, well, there's another van that's already on its way. Go over there and wait for it. We dropped off that van, and then the van got there, and again, we took it over there, but this one had kilos, some kilos. I mean, this shit looked like it was a goddamn movie, Scarface and shit. It was hardcore with it.
Yeah.
And we were all strapped, and we were ready just in case of anything went down.
Mm-hmm.
So we unloaded it. And again, another one, boom, I hit up the vato. Another one, went, drop off that one, picked up another one.
Mm-hmm.
And again, big old stacks of weed. Hardcore shit. I'm talking about hardcore. My storage room was full. It was full. And then, I was getting paid pretty good. So by the next day, they would call me. Certain merchandise leaves, and then as they leaves, they keep bringing in more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a rotation. It keeps going like that.
Gotcha.
So, and I did that for over a year.
Mm-hmm.
Working with them, but then it happened. One of my uncles died. That's when the Lord was already reaching out to me. When my uncle died, he was like my pops. Mm-hmm. He was the same as me. He was working also with the cartel, but with a different group.
Right.
And every time something happened, I would go talk to him. And he my pops, he took, with us, blacks, Hispanics, and natives, we all about weed. So we go smoke a blunt and we talk about the problems. He tell me how to go about certain situations and all that. So then, once he died, it hit me hard. And so I started, this is where everything started fucking up. I started popping Xanax. And I started going on some crazy trips. And one Xanax, it became 3 Xanax, and then 5 Xanax. Then I was popping 11 Xanax a day. 11, and just smoking blunt after blunt. No, hey, where I'm from, it's $1 a gram of weed. So I know there's a lot of brothers that say they would outsmoke me, but where I'm from, it's very, very cheap. So we keep going, and I'm still operating here, but now I'm already going into
$1 a gram is insane.
a concert. That's where everything goes out of one.
Insane.
It goes from the valley, and then it gets shipped up. You got to cross the checkpoint. Falfurrias checkpoint.
You getting around the way, you getting a 20 a gram,
Right,
25 a gram. That's crazy.
Hardcore. Out of one.
Insane. But my bad, Slocky, go ahead.
Oh, we good out of one. So then I'm over here popping pills, and I'm going on trips. We have little wars with certain people and this and that. You know, I get in shootouts. I get in stabbings. A lot of shit happened. I was reckless. I became real reckless. Xanax makes you into another different person. So I was throwing down the stop signs and traffic lights in Walmarts and H-E-B and Stripes. Everywhere it was just a fight.
Right.
Yeah, I couldn't handle nobody disrespecting me. You know, to us, death is better than dishonor.
Right.
Like I wouldn't, por mis huevos, nobody was gonna disrespect me. So we keep going, and I'm still over here trying to deal with this and that. By then, 2 of my homies told me that the vatos that were dealing with me, that they wanted to work with them too. They had already broken the code. They were supposed to ask me first, and I would have talked to my homies. But they skipped over me, and they they're over here in secret and shit. So they came and told me, they used to call me Creeper in the streets. He's like, hey, Creeper, these vatos, they said if we want to work with him, and, we see you making money, well, basically I'm asking you permission. Can you let us work so we can make some money too? If not, it's no big deal. We keep working with you. I told him, hey, carnal, if you're going to do it, just make sure you're ready for it. Because, these vatos, they are some hardcore shit.
Right.
So, in the way we were always strapped. I was always about guns and gunslinging. I was about it. That's what it was. It's street life.
Right.
So, we kept operating. The vatos took off. They started their own thing. And then it happened with them where somebody kicked in the door. They call it tumba puertas. Le tumbaron la puerta. They kicked in the door, and, they had them on the floor with, people dressed in military, SWAT team and all that shit. They came and beat the shit out of them, had them on the floor in gunpoint while they were unloading their whole apartment with everything. And the vatos called me and they told me, and they had some shit that they had to handle amongst them. But to me, I was like, well, it's time to get out. And the money was good, everything was good, but the Lord was already touching me, moving me in some way where, I would see myself in the mirror and see the man that I had become. And I didn't want my children to be like this. I wanted that curse to be broken with me. Right. I wanted to be better than my father, but I didn't know how to be a real man.
Right.
No matter how many people you fight, you shoot at, or whatever you do, if it's not of the UPK, if it's not in the Bible, you're not a real man. Right. Only the Bible teaches you how to be a real man. That's something I had to learn. So I look at myself in the mirror with disgust, and a lot of homies died, overdose, car crashes. Some of them got locked up, and some of them committed suicide. I lost a lot of homies. I'm 41 years old. I'm old school. So I lost a lot of homies, and shit was already getting to me. It was too much. By then, I already had maybe a year and a half, almost 2 years of popping 11 Xanax a day, and cocaine, and weed, and smoking that K2, that incense, and
K2,
and I would still drive like that. I would still operate. I had insomnia to the fullest.
So you say you doing Xannies, blowing, smoking weed, and K2, and sniffing lots of cocaine.
Concert.
You was out of here.
Concert, and I went like that hardcore since my uncle died. It was maybe almost 2 years, and I talked to the vatos, and I told them, hey, you know what? It's time for me to get out. He said, well, what you mean, Creeper? We're doing good. Yeah, but I already knew what had happened with my homies, how they rolled up on them and shit. So I told him, but that's it, homeboy. Hey, my uncle died, and I haven't been the same. I got to get my shit together. Right. So the vato said, hey, well, you know what? Hey, you've been making good money. Salaki, sir. Hey, can you give me a water, Karna Baba Kisha? So the vato said, hey, well, you know what? You've been good. Everything's been good. Everything's been checking out. All right, Creeper, we'll let it go like that. And if you ever need to work again, you hit us up. So, it took him like maybe 2-3 weeks to get everything out. And again, a lot of homies took off in different directions because now my spirit was on fire. I don't want.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hurt people, and
Right.
you know, it came to the point where all I wanted to do was fight and do some dirt and just
Right.
go on some bullshit. And I remember one of them weekends, my rib used to leave on the weekends. That would be the time I would operate the most. And I was in a table, and I had little mountain of cocaine. I was taking shots, bucanas, raza. We drink bucanas, eh? So I was fucking drinking bucanas and taking some pinche pase, taking some bumps and smoking, and I'm all Xanax out, and I put it in my revolver, and Russian really, I put it down. So yeah, I'm like, fuck it, I don't want to see like this. I become a fucking junkie.
Right.
What the fuck am I doing?
Right.
And even then I would still work out and I would still do everything, but I couldn't get any satisfaction on anything I did in my life anymore.
Right.
It was over. I thought I just needed to restart, or to die. That was it. So I made a long ass line out of one, and I poured myself a drink. I took 4 shots, boom, 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 and then I snorted that whole line with a big old straw I had. And then I took 2 big hits of the blunt and took a hit of the kush from a pipe. I grabbed the gun and click, and I'm like, I didn't, they didn't go off. So I'm like, I get angry, and now I'm yelling at God, like what do you want? You won't let me live, but you won't let me die. So with tears in my face, and I'm over here like, fuck. So I just kept going the whole night, just on everything, just reevaluating everything, see if I could do anything for me. So then that's when it was time. I decided to go to my sister's house in Michigan and try to kick it cold turkey. So I went over there, I flew over there. By day number 5 of no sleeping, I was already hallucinating and talking to my dead homies. She lived in a wooded area, so I was at 3 or 4 in the morning sitting outside, surrounded by dead homies, and I'm having a conversation with them like if they're all there. And I'm over here like, damn, carnal, you shouldn't have died like that. They said like fuck. And then I'm talking to everybody now, and I'm smoking with them. When that night passed, I told my sister, take me to the hospital, because that's it. I don't know what's going to happen with me anymore. Go to the hospital. I tell the doctor everything that I've done, everything, all them drugs I was hooked on. He told me a lot of people die for a lot less of what you've done.
Right.
I don't know how you're still alive.
Right.
So I said, look, I just need to go to sleep so I can get better. I haven't slept, and I'm already talking to dead people and all that.
Right.
So he said, I got a shot for you that's going to put you to sleep. We're going to keep you for a few nights, and we'll put you to sleep. I told him, make sure that it's something strong, because I have a high tolerance for everything.
Right.
The guy said, this is something that will put a horse to sleep. So he gave me the shot, but it didn't put me to sleep. It put me on automatic pilot. And then it put me where everybody was withdrawing from drugs. All the people that were out there that were doing heroin, I guess it's like a rehab that they have.
Right.
So I was there 3 days, and all I remember was throwing down with people. And the Lord would made it where I would just come back just to fight. I'm short. I'm 5'6". I'm a short Mexican.
Right.
But so, a lot of people, they want to mess with us. That's all it is. Everybody want to mess with the short Mexican. That's always I did like that.
Yeah.
So I would be throwing down. Now remember, I would just come back to my body, and I got this big old white guy trying to, hey, what's up? Like, what? And you just start going at it. I'm over here. I remember flying arm bars, flying kicks, rear naked chokes, ankle locks, double leg takedowns. I was doing all kinds of shit on these people. And then once they were gonna, I think on my 3rd day, they called my sister and said that it was over for me. They had given me 6 shots, and it wouldn't put me to sleep.
That's
and I was just the whole night just walking around and picking fights and just crazy. I wasn't there. But the Lord was still with me those days, because he protected me from the hands of the heathens, from catching an ass whooping from these people. I could still fight.
Right.
So on the 3rd day, that same day that they called my sister, that's when the Lord had mercy on me and put me to sleep. He said, all right, you know what? They said I walked into
So you
my
went to
room.
sleep on the 3rd day?
They were out to get on me. They were gonna call the cops and take me to a crazy house and put me on a vest and all that. So, but they said that by myself, I just walked to my room and fell asleep. So I wake up in the hospital. I didn't even know what the fuck was going on, and I'm over here like, I push for assistance, the nurse, and I'm like, hey, well, where am I? What the fuck is going on? What happened? The nurse came over here and explained to me everything that I had done, everything that I have, how many people I hurt. I was doing some crazy ass shit. So I told them I don't remember anything. It's y'all's fault. So I blamed it on them. It's your fault. I told y'all that I'm gonna go to sleep.
Right.
So I don't know what the fuck y'all gave me.
Right.
So then that's when they kept me there 2 days, and then they let me go just to make sure I wasn't crazy. So then I remember went to my sister's house, and they say every Israelite, if you're Black, Hispanic, and Native, you have a broken ass car in your backyard. Later becomes a smoking headquarters.
Right.
And I was in there just smoking blunt after blunt after blunt, and just thinking about my whole life. There's a lot of things I can't say, and a lot of other things that happen I can't really talk about.
Right.
But so I'm over here smoking, and I start talking to God, like, what is it that you want from me? Why can't you just let me die? Like, what do you want from me? You won't even talk to me. Are you even alive? So then I yell, like, where the, I said, where the fuck are you? Where the fuck are you? Like, I'm right here. Like, show me how to live. Show me something. And, I was tearing up, but I just kept smoking. So then that night, I went to my living room, to my sister's living room, and tried to go to sleep and shit. And that's when it happened. I fell asleep. And then I hear a voice, awake, like awake, arise, or something like that. This voice was not talking in English, and it was not talking in Spanish, but I was understanding what the voice was saying. So, I start floating up in the living room, and I turn around and I look, and I see my body right there in the couch where I had slept. And I turn around, and there's this big, huge light. I can't even see it. It's too bright, and it hurts. I couldn't even see from where it began to where it ended. I thought I was dead. So I said, what is this? Am I dead? And the angel said, and I know it's an angel because I got counsel on it with a general. And I said, what is this? Am I dead? What's happening? The angel said, you asked the Lord thy God to show you who you are. Now come with me. So from there, I started floating up. I flew through the roof. I see the house, and I ended up in this place with some big old golden gates. Big. I was tiny, and these gates were huge. And I asked the angel, what is this? Where am I? The angel said, you're in a place called Shemayim. Now, I don't know anything about no Lashawan Kadash. I don't know anything about our language, but that's what the angel referred to it as it was. Later on, in the Lord's Prayer, Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim, Kadash Haya Shamka, our Father who art thou in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yeah, so I was in, according to the general, I was in the third heaven. So then the angel said, walk with me. So the gates open, and I'm walking through a big old bridge. And then I hear explosions and screamings and cryings. And I look over the bridge, and I'm seeing buildings burning from as far as I could see. People dying, explosions, all kinds of crazy cataclysmic shit. And I'm tripping out, like, what is this? I tell the angel, because it's, of course, it's Earth, but I'm seeing it from up there, and I'm seeing everything, just cars, everything is just being destroyed. Fire consuming everything. People screaming, people trying to save their kids, but they still get burned. And I asked the angel, what is this? And the angel tells me, Babylon has fallen. So I'm over here like, what does that mean? The angel says, Sodom and Gomorrah, it is done. It has been judged. I still don't know what's going on. I'm talking Avato from the streets. I went to Christian church. Christianity failed me. I went to Catholic church. It failed me as well. I even tried to go to the Muslim place one time while I was all Xanax. I fell asleep in the carpet while they were talking. I don't know what. They thought I was praying, but I was asleep. I was fucked up. I was out of it. So, and now all of this is happening. So, and the angel tells me this, so I don't ask him any more questions, because I'm not really understanding everything that's going on. But I'm there looking over the bridge for many, many hours, people dying, and all kinds of different people. It's not like just the same person dying. No, I'm seeing some hardcore shit, hardcore.
Right.
All of a sudden, an explosion, big explosion happens, and it reaches the heavens where I'm at. So now the fire is all around me, but I'm not being consumed, and I'm tripping out, like, what's up? Like, what's happening? Am I dying and going to hell? I didn't know what hell was back then. So the fire is around me, and then it explodes, a big explosion. Now I'm somewhere in the forest. You know, it's like the Yucatan. It's the woods and all that. And I'm walking and I'm looking everywhere.
Yucatan Peninsula, that's down by Guatemala and Belize and all that, right?
Canal on Cancer, down there, like where the Spaniards came and conquered and all that, by Mexico, Distrito Federal and all that. So now I'm in that zone, and I'm seeing horses with metal armor coming all over, and I'm seeing indigenous people running. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I'm tripping out, because these horses and people with armor, and they got little musket-like guns or something, and they're shooting, and they catch up to the indigenous people, and they start slaughtering them. I'm seeing people getting their heads chopped off, their nuts chopped off, dismembered, being tied in a pole and burned alive. I'm seeing all kinds of crazy shit. I try to help one of them, but I go right through him. I'm in the dream, but I'm not a part of it. I'm just watching. There's nothing I can do to help. They were murdering children, women, old people. Man, they didn't have no mercy. And that took me back to a dream I used to have from when I was around 3 to 6 years old. It would never fail. At least 2 times a month, I would have a dream that I was an Indian. I was a mighty warrior. I had a bow, and I had a big old, it looked some sort like an axe and all, like an axe, some shit like that. And I had a woman, and I had 2 children in that dream. And we were walking in a place like that where there was a lot of trees, and we hear horses. And in that dream, I was a child, but this was my family. I had 2 kids and a wife, and we went to the woods, but the people, they saw us, and I came out, and you know, I tried to fight them, but they shot me in the stomach. And in my dream, you know, I was halfway dead, and I saw how they murdered my 2 sons, and how they murdered my wife. They raped her and they murdered her. I saw, and there was nothing I could do to move. Then they left us there. You know, they thought I was dead, but once they left, I tried to slither to the body of my 2 children and my wife, and I got them together, and I laid on top of them crying, waiting for death myself. And that's when my grandma would always wake me up. I would wake up crying hardcore. I was a little kid, you know, from the age of 3 to the age of 6, it never failed. At least once or twice a month that I would have that. So that dream reminded me of that dream, and now I'm thinking, these are my people. These are my indigenous ancestors getting slaughtered. This is a Spanish conquest, a Spaniard conquest and shit. So now,
nosotros somos escuela israelita, conocimiento black, sal.
Power of manifested. You know the understood is their destruction.
Tú eres un hombre hispano, negro, indio nativo. Tu lugar es aquí con nosotros. Nosotros somos tu verdadera familia. Deja de seguir la costumbre de nuestros opresores y toda otra maldita nación. Tú eres Israel. Nosotros somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Órale.
Yeah. Orderly. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can y'all hear me? To anybody that's listening, let me make sure the sound is working. Let's fix this real quick. This camera angle. All right, Most High in Christ. We got up in here. Who we got up in here? We got Halak. We was going down. Kanah Shalom, Lord in Christ. What's going down, y'all? What's going down? That's how you're tuned in to another episode of the Inconvenient Truth. finally, you know, we doing it on a set and on a scheduled, you know, night. You know, finally we got it back to, you know, the original day when it used to. To all y'all that have been, you know, longtime viewers who are familiar know what I'm talking about. The Inconvenient Truth used to come on every Wednesday night. It was hosted by Officer Kazak Yad. You know, at the time, he would come on at 8:00. You know, I mean, we try to get to that time, but you know, but right now, best we could do right now is 10:00. So of course, you know, we here. I'm live. I'm Precinct Officer 1000 Malakma, representing ISUPK Southern California, ISUPK Mexico. Shout out to my carnal. Hold on, before I do that, let me shout out the brother in here. Lord Lau, he hops on real soon. You know, we got Precinct Officer 5000, Camarada. You know, we're right here hosting tonight's episode. And I want to say before that, shout out Officer Yashikar, you know, the camp leader of ISUPK Mexico, for giving that history, right, of that vision and that dream he saw. And that's one thing we can say, you know, you have a dream in here, man. You take it to the one of the generals, they'll break it down and see if it's that, and that, you know, it's the Most High actually saying something, or if it's just a dream, you know. But that was heavy, the dream he shared, right? And yeah, the story that brother Carnal shared about his history, you know, what he went through. And that's a similar story for a lot of Raza that's, you know, out there and in here in the ISUPK. You know, brothers come in here out of all walks of life. And, you know, we come in here, you know, to learn the truth about what the Bible is saying, to come in here and to learn about what the scriptures are saying, and to show brotherhood, right? To learn brotherhood and sisterhood and show it amongst each other. The Bible says, well, by this shall all men know that ye are my disciples, that if you love one another as I have loved you, right? That's the brotherhood and the sisterhood. A lot of y'all out there, you know, hear what we say and look at us like some cult, look at us like we're, you know, trying to, you know, colonize, you know, indigenous people. We represent this the wrong way. We do some, you know. But really, man, we just here learning the truth of the Bible and learning brotherhood and applying it to our everyday lives, man. You know, Lord allow us coming out or hop on soon. Tonight's episode is titled "Should Like the Boycott," and also, you know, we might do a little recap of the UFC fight that happened this Sunday in the White House lawn, you know, with the community issue and the community issues, right? So should Latinos support the boycott? UFC, politics, and community issues, you know? And that's the thing, right? We all around us, right? You got fights and you know, all types of entertainment going on. This is the same thing that happened in Rome, right? I'll share my opinion about what I thought when I saw that UFC fight this Sunday, right? I thought it was the biggest propaganda machine ever launched, you know, and I thought that was the point of it, you know, was to spread propaganda about how great it is to be an American, how great it is to be quote unquote white, how great it is to, you know, to be like them, right? All the commercials, all the advertisement, right? Also, you know, Officer Kazakia, right, who was watching it with us at the time, is, you know, told us, right, that it's a propaganda machine, and, you know, subconsciously they're trying to, you know, recruit you and get you ready for the draft that's coming up. I mean, you know, the oppressors getting ready for World War III, right? So they're gonna try to, you know, what they say, recruitment's at an all-time low. There's always the conspiracies and the what is it, the claims that there's about to be a draft push. So we'll see what happens, man. For one thing I could say is for all the raza that's, you know, out there, you know, y'all loving America, man. I pray y'all understand and learn that, you know, if you're Mexican, if you're Latino, you know, Hispanic, indigenous, whatever, you know, whatever you identifying as, you know, in this place, in this occupied territory, I pray y'all understand that there is no place for you in that military, man. Like I said, I'm old, 45. Hey, carnal, I heard it. I don't know if you know what the cutoff age is for the draft, but I heard it was going. They moved it up because just so they be able to get people, man. But so like, bear with me 1 second, carnal. Listen, mujeres. Let me let the brother know we live. Also, the link is there. If you got any questions or comments? So what should we start with first, right? While I wait for, let's go into the UFC fight real quick, man. So how many of y'all saw the fight? Like if you're not watching this not now while it's live, you watch it later, you can put your answer in the comments. How many of y'all saw that event this Sunday? How many of y'all saw the event and what did y'all think about it? I saw it, man, and like I said, I thought it was the biggest propaganda machine ever pushed. Of course, that's never been done before, right? They've never had an event like that on the White House lawn. But what if I were to tell you that the people that claim to be civilized, right? That claim to be all about being civilized. Always, when we bring up social, for lack of a better term, social justice issues, right? When we bring that up, right? They claim that what else? What about black on black crime? What do they claim? They have black fatigue. They want to get away from all the crime and all the ghetto behavior. What would you think if I told you they were exhibiting the same behavior at that event? You thought the people that were civilized, right? That were all about, being down to earth and kind and wouldn't hurt a fly, that type, peaceful and nice. They were getting drunk and out of hand. They were getting drunk and out of hand and violent. They were doing the same thing that they claimed to be against, man. I'm gonna pull a picture right now, to describe. Hey, shalom, sir. Yam shabakata.
Hey, shalom, Ganar, shabakata.
Hey, what's going on, sir? Salaki, we right here live. I'm talking about the UFC fight.
Okay, Kana.
I think we'll leave the best for last with the boycott. But to get started, let me go to the book. Is it John 8:44? Let me see. John 8:44. Yeah, here we go. This is the book of John. Let me share with y'all real quick before we get into a scripture, right? This is the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44. It says, "Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." When we tell you that the oppressor is the devil, that the Bible speaks of, right? Cuando los cabachos son el diablo que dice la Santa Biblia, we talking about this is the proof that it's the so-called white man, that it's los gringos, man. They're the ones that when they speak lies, right? When they make all these accusations against us, against Mexicans, against so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they're talking about themselves, man. So like, I don't like this thing capturing. And I mean, they're describing the things they do. You understand? What did Donald Trump say when he started his campaign against, back in 2016? He said when Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best, right? What did he say? They're bringing crimes, they're bringing rapists. He said they're bringing criminals, and then he said some I assume are good people. Meanwhile, Trump is on that Epstein file, right? He's on that Epstein file. What's all the stuff that went on Epstein's island? So when he speak of a lie, he speak of his own. So like, sir, do you want to add it?
Nah, go ahead, Karna. You got it.
Come on, sir. So let me find the footage. Meanwhile, you know. Let me see. Let's see if I find the footage real quick. I thought I had it. Oh man, damn. Okay, no sweat. Let me play this clip real quick.
Position. It was, Stephanie, a weekend of humiliation for the president and for the United States of America. Of course, Donald Trump has lost a number of rulings in the courts about having his name on federal buildings and rewriting history in national parks. He was forced to take those things down this weekend, start reversing them. And at the same time, the country, I think, was humiliated by this spectacle. Now, let me just say, I'm not opposed to the idea of the United States having some sort of UFC fight or some sort of event. But I think to anyone watching this, anyone steeped in history, this felt a lot like America's Roman moment. And to those students of history, they'll probably remember a satirist from Roman times named Juvenal, who watched his country slide into autocracy and coined a very famous phrase, bread and circuses. That is what he said Roman rulers, as the Roman Republic fell and turned into the empire, gave their people to distract them from that slide into despotism. If you were going to create an image, Steph, of American decline, you could not have created an image that echoed better back to Roman times than this. The gladiator-like spectacle in front of the White House on the emperor's 80th birthday. I think it was alarming for a lot of reasons. And unfortunately, I think a lot of our leaders don't remember those echoes of history.
Miles, your reaction to everything we saw in D.C. this weekend, quite the juxtaposition.
It was, Stephanie, a weekend of humiliation for the president and for the...
Yeah, so like, so you heard what that, I believe that was the former, the former DHS chief of staff said, right? Miles Taylor, he said that this was an embarrassing moment for America. And you saw how he mentioned, right, that this was their Roman moment.
God.
You know, and that's heavy because what was the brother telling? What was the brother telling us at the on Sunday, right? That's exactly what it was reminding him of. That it was this exactly what Rome did, right before their fall, right? And
right.
I don't recall if because I said bread and circuses, but right, that's what this guy said, right? That's what this guy said, that this something along the lines of one of the Roman I forgot who we mentioned, but they were talking about bread and circuses, that they had the country, the empire, focusing on entertainment, meanwhile ignoring the fact that it was crumbling and falling, right? And that's the, you know, the harsh reality that these oppressors don't want to accept, that your empire is falling. Your heaven that you live in today, man, is coming to an end. You know, you have but a little time. That's what Donald Trump knows. You understand? Then he called it the decline of America, right? He said the decline of America, man. Let me see something. Let me see if I can find. Damn, I wish I would have saved it. I thought I did. It's a lot. Let me see if I got it right here. You know, and that's the crazy part. Oh, you know what? I think I know who shared it. Salakia. It was Officer Gadaiwan. He made the post. Let me go to Officer Gadaiwan's page real quick. You know, and that's funny, man. The brother brought that out, man. That's hilarious. You know.
Con.
Yeah, like just the fact that all this, you know, like comparing it to Roman, like what is it? The Bible says, right? Never forget the days of old. Never forget, you know, for whatsoever was written aforetime was written for our learning. So, you know, all these things are happening. And that's your it wasn't obstacle that was obstacle not to I got her. I found this right here. Salaki, here it is.
Honkies gotta stop honking out. They all at the White House honking out. They literally turned the White House to the trailer park.
You gotta
alcoholic,
share it, carnal.
3 teeth having, Confederate flag wearing honkies.
So I say again?
No, I said because it's not. It wasn't sharing it.
Okay.
There you go.
All right, you see it now? You good?
Yeah.
Okay, on sign, Chris.
Cause he live at home in a trailer. See, these honkies gotta stop honking out. They all at the White House honking out. They literally turned the White House to the trailer park. A bunch of alcoholic, 3 teeth having, Confederate flag wearing honkies honking out. If you ever wanted to know what white culture is, this is it right here. This is the culture that Donald Trump wants to make great again.
Damn.
Yo, watch out, cops, you're going to jail, bro.
Hey, he just attacked me. Hey, stop. Get down.
So let me play this for him. I like that term, honking out. That's exactly what they were doing, honking out.
Yeah, there was a wrestler. He wanted to be like Elvis, and he was called the Honky Tonk Man.
Right. I remember the Honky Tonk Man.
They were honking out.
They were honking out. That's a good one, man. Let's see if there's some more. This supposed to be the people that civilized, man. Right? These are people that talk about all about keep doing it the right way and obeying the law, not getting, acting a fool. And look at them. Doing exactly what they said they're against.
But that's the thing, that's who we learned it from.
Right.
The way we act now is because we learned it from the oppressor.
Then you had this guy, right?
You see Black and Hispanics acting like that in the communities, but we're the ones that get frowned upon if we act like that. Like we get called ghetto and what have you.
Right. That's why what is it when the Bible says, right, as it brought on John 8:44, when he speak of a lie, he speak of his own, because he's the one that's ghetto. He's the one that's uncivilized and violent. They're the ones that, as you see, right? That's white on white crime. Charlie Kirk, white on white crime. But you want to make us the face of that. You want to make us the face of everything wrong with America. Y'all, what's wrong with America? It's not us, man.
And if I could too, they also got a devil. And I believe it was like his mom and I don't know who else that were planning to do a shooting that same day.
Jesus Christ, man.
I don't know if you heard about that.
Nah, I didn't hear about that.
I
Damn.
seen it. I think that's the story I was trying to tell you that I was trying to save her, but I couldn't find it.
That's crazy, man. Then you had this guy, right? What was the spider that won and that said this about Michelle Obama?
That she looks like a man.
Right, let me share this one. Like, imagine. Here's what I was gonna say, right? You know, his Lord and Savior, the Jesus Christ he's talking about is not Jesus Christ, but Cesar Borgia. Damn, what happened here?
It's Donald Trump himself.
Right, Donald Trump himself, sir, and Cesar Borgia, right? Because that's who they're imagining when they say Jesus Christ, right?
Yeah, but remember just recently,
right.
Donald Trump, right? He
Right.
portrayed himself as Jesus Christ.
Well, let me see if I can find it. Yeah, you're absolutely right, sir. I forgot about that, man.
And so, like, I think we lost. Something happened when we lost connection to Facebook.
To Mexico.
Did you see that?
Yeah, I just
it's
saw
like
that right
three.
now.
Hey, Shalom, Cardinal Michael Love, what's good with you out? I'm gonna see if I can restore.
You see what's going on here? Let me see. Yeah, I see what you mean, man. This is why we say the oppressor is the devil, man. He's trying to stop us from, sharing what we're, the truth, man.
Okay.
I always want to be quick to silence us. Yeah, they cut it off. Damn, okay.
No sweat. I'm gonna try to
create a new one.
Yeah, I'm just gonna remove it and then I'm gonna try to add it on back on.
God, no sweat, sir. No sweat. Well, for y'all tuning in, man, we still live on what is it? We live on YouTube and Instagram, But hey, Michael Love Shalom, Lord Christ. Maybe because the commentaries, the comments might have been why they stopped all the, But back to what we were saying, right? This devil goes on there and talks about Mike Birriera's mom, and then talks about Michelle Obama. After he just defeated that brother, right, in the fight. Now, of course, I don't follow UFC like that, where I know everything about the fighters, their history, their stats, and all that. But it was a brother he fought. The brother lost, and this cat, went and talked about Michelle Obama. And then at the same time, talk about Mike Birriera's mother, man. This cat is just an animal, man. The oppressor is an animal, man. Like, what was the relevance of bringing that up? That would be my question to the listening audience. What's the relevance of him saying all that after winning the match? Not hey, man, like, hey, shout out to, so-and-so for fighting. Shout out to Pereira, I challenge you. No, let me talk about your mom. Let me talk about Michelle Obama. He said, I want to shama your mama. Like, what do you think he's trying to say, man? When the Bible says that, there's no such profane, what is it? A profane fornicator such as Esau. I mean, you need more proof that the oppressor is Esau. This right here is the proof you need right here, man. You understand? And this is who his Lord and Savior is, man. Let me show y'all who his Lord. This is the Jesus Christ he was talking about. This is the Jesus Christ he was talking about. Right, that's the Jesus Christ he was talking about. He wasn't talking about, the Yahweh Shai. He wasn't talking about the Christ of the Bible. He was talking about this right here. This image right here is what came to his mind.
Right.
So that should let y'all know something, man. That should let you know that the Christian church, right, is the home of white supremacy, right? I mean, if the history behind it isn't enough for y'all, look at this image right here. Look at what that fighter said. Look at the things he said, right, about the two. But what nationality is Pereira?
Pereira, he's Brazilian.
Brazilian, right? And the other brother he fought was a Benjamite, right? Or is a Benjamite?
Yeah, the one he lost to.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that lets you know, like, his lack of respect for so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, man. You understand? Because in his mind, right, it's, what is it? If you're not white, you're not right. You know? That's how he sees it. They see it, man. That's really what he was trying. That was the whole point of that, man. Like, it didn't get more whiter. That's all when I was watching that on Sunday, man, all I thought is, like, this is about as white as it gets, man. You know? The Caucasian overload in that fight, man, in that whole event. Salakia. That was like, they had the country music and all the let me see if I can find some of the commercials for there.
Yeah, Kanka, if I could.
Go ahead, sir.
Everything that's going on, is to keep, the masses emotionally stimulated so they never focus on the corruption of the empire. Right? Like how you said, and then the brother was bringing out, like, that's what Rome did when they were collapsing, and what America got now. They got sports obsession. They got the FIFA World Cup.
Right.
They just had the NBA Finals. And they got celebrity worship. They got the internet drama, the racial division. All these political reality shows, the constant, outrage cycles. The constant entertainment. Like, everybody wants to be a streamer now. And it's to spiritually exhaust, the population, and it's to get them sedated with the distraction. That's how they want to keep us stimulated, so we'll never focus on their corruption. And we got to pay attention to that. We got to say, you know what, like ain't nothing wrong with being a sports fan. Ain't nothing wrong with going to, your favorite celebrity's concert and, what have you. But also, don't let it distract you from what's really going on. America is falling. And if you're not on the right side of the power that is going to be destroying America, or that is going to destroy America, you're on the wrong side.
Right.
You're going to be destroyed you're going to fall with America. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because you got sedated with everything America's trying to distract you with.
Right. Oh, okay. So I see what they did.
You got it, Kana?
Oh, so they stopped our live because of the content, the UFC content in there, man.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Even though Chris is the devil, man. So let me select it real quick. For y'all tuning in, man. So of course the oppressor being the devil took down our Facebook lives. But if y'all could, we were live on YouTube. If y'all want to hop on right there and join us right there, I'm gonna put the link, to our YouTube page. So that way, y'all can join us there. So like, sir, real quick, just if y'all could, real quick, while I get this going.
You said what?
If you want to add anything else while I continue right here.
Yeah, Khan, like how what that one devil said. He said that it was a bread and circus.
Yeah,
bread and circus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that bread and circus is violence, is entertainment. Is a spectacle, that has become a political theater now. Like I remember General Hyman, he was saying that it's all like WWF.
Right. That's what it reminded me of, to be quite honest.
It's all just for entertainment, to entertain and have you cheering, but they're really not about that. And at the end of this movie, which is a real movie, and the Most High is the director.
Right.
He has a special role for America. And I know, in theaters, America, they like to portray America like it's undefeated, like it's a great power, and all the superheroes come from America. But according to this movie that it's on right now, America is going to be destroyed with all its leaders, with all its power, all that might. It's not going to hold against Yahushua and the 200 million angels, that are going to crack the sky to eradicate this goddamn devil.
Right.
Like America has turned violence into a culture.
Right.
And what you see, these devils, that's degeneracy that's become marketing. The humiliation has become comedy, and death has become content. But when we do it, right, we just violent. We have no remorse. We are inhumane. Hold on, Carlos.
No sweat. One second, bear with us, man. As you see, they try to stop us, so we're trying to, trying to see if I can spread the YouTube live so people can join us there.
Getting loud.
Yeah, no sweat.
Yeah, but yeah, Rome watched men kill each other in arenas while the empire rotted eternally. And the Bible says, hold on, how does it say? Just paraphrasing, it says, Salakia. What's the scripture say? Something about everything that happens under the sun.
There's no new thing under the sun.
There you go. There's no new thing under the sun.
Let me find it. I'll find it for you, sir.
And America is doing the exact same thing because the infrastructure is collapsing. The American families, they're collapsing. The American mind is collapsing. The American morality is collapsing. The American economy is cracking. And people are spiritually destroyed. Like what happened outside of those gates of the White House is the spirit of America. You know, and the Bible prophesies that what does that scripture say? So like I'm a little long-winded tonight, but the scripture where it says there's going to be racial. I'm trying to get the words, the biblical words. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, he fell out.
So, like, sir, say again.
No, I'm trying to remember that scripture.
I had this one right here. Did you want me to read it?
Nah, it's a while. No, I was just paraphrasing it. There's another one. I just forgot how it went right now.
No sweat.
You know, but yeah, Kankana, you got it.
Come. There's one more thing that I wanted to share, right? When if you needed more proof that the oppressor is a culture bandit, what was that one? Like the audacity and the nerve of this oppressor, man. Let me show y'all something else, man, real quick while we at it. Look at this cat, man. I'm gonna show this image right here. Damn, let me see. I need to enlarge this image. Look at this double, man, right here. When we say the oppressor is a culture bandit, right? I mean, I don't know how much more proof you need that he's a culture bandit. Right? And I'm trying to look at this image of Sean O'Malley. That's his name, right? Here we go. Look at this cat. Look at that right there. Oh, dang. I hate when it does this. Look at this right here, sir. This is Sean O'Malley. He won one of the fights right there at the Freedom UFC Freedom 250. UFC Freedom 250 winner Sean O'Malley with cornrows or braids in his hair painted in red, white, and blue. How much, you know, and y'all want to talk about, let me say this, man, Salakia. A lot of y'all out there, man, like will charge, you know, each other, right? Y'all will charge each other for rocking braids, you know, especially movements like the Latinos for Trump and the FBAs. Y'all will come at each other, right, and charge each other for being tethers and saying you're appropriating each other's culture. Meanwhile, my question is, what do y'all got to say about this, right? What about the white community? What do y'all have to say about this, man? What do you white people have to say about this right here? I remember, right, I was hearing that braids were deemed unprofessional, right? That it was ghetto, that you look like a thug wearing braids. Why is no one calling Sean O'Malley a thug? Why is no one saying he looks unprofessional? Why is no one saying that, you know, braids shouldn't be allowed in the UFC? Right? It's been real quiet, sir. It's been real quiet. You know? Where are you FBA cats to call this a tether right here? But if Sean O'Malley was Mexican, what would you FBA cats have to say then? You call him a tether. You understand? And that's what's mind-boggling. It's not just Sean O'Malley. Let me show y'all Forciado Blow. For y'all that don't know, Forciado Blow is that white rapper that made that song with that other cat talking about lynching somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Look at this cat. Look at this cat. Look at this devil, man. picture of him in braids. I mean, it's already bad enough that he's trying to dress like he's, you know, rocking chains and the shoes and the hat with the haircut, rapping, and talking about lynching somebody. You know, what's this right here? It was one of his latest songs he made, sir. This cat was on there rocking this stuff. I might not have an image of him in braids. It's on there though. You could look him up on wait, is this it right here? Oh, this is it right here. This is a song. He made a song called End Pass. Good night, man.
And the thing is, Carnal, that if Donald Trump wants to make America great again, he's going to have to be like Hitler. You know what Hitler did?
What did he do,
Hitler
sir?
had an agenda of creating a pure white race, right?
Image right there?
Huh?
This is a song he made called End Pass. And then not too long ago, he made a song called Good versus Evil.
Carnal, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead, sir.
If I could, Hitler had an agenda of creating a pure white race.
Right.
And the people who he wanted to be pure were his own people, but they wanted to be Jews. Hitler knew who the real Jews were, that they were black. And what did he do?
Right.
He got rid of them. If America wants to be great, they will get rid of these two clowns. For trying, America can't be great with these two clowns wanting, you know, putting on braids and tattoos. You know, Hitler, he wanted to make Germany great. He tried to achieve it, but Donald Trump, you know, he's failing at it. He will get rid of these two clowns that are his people because they are not making America great.
Right.
You got it, Karna Salaki.
Nah, no sir, Salaki. Nah, you know, and it's crazy because this is the proof that they're the Idumeans, right? What were the Idumeans known for, sir? Being culture bandits, right?
They're kind of the Romans.
While trying to get rid of you. What did they do on the with the Native Americans? They did what they passed. They passed that Dawes Act. Is that what it was called? The Dawes Act, where for $5 they can come and claim Native American identity and live on the tribe. I believe there's a video out there. I might have showed it this on one of these past episodes where the brother interviewed a white man posing as a Native American.
There's a better clip out there, Karnal Salakia. You know, nothing against the brother's interview, but there's a video out there just recently. I seen it where these clowns, imposters, they go and they get a DNA test, and it doesn't even go back to Native American, and they surprised.
Good night.
Did you see that?
Nah, I haven't seen that. If you could send me
Man,
that footage.
Hilarious.
Oh man, we gotta see that.
I didn't. I would have to look for it, but if I could find it, man, it's hilarious.
Right. All I gotta say is this, man.
Bitch ass parasite.
You know.
Oh, look at it closely. Look at it closely.
Look at it closely, man. That's exactly what they are, parasites, man. You ever seen that movie, The Thing? Outside that movie.
I think I did. I don't recall.
I don't know how many of y'all out there seen that movie, The Thing, man, with Kurt Russell. Well, for y'all that haven't, you know, I won't go too much into it, but in the movie The Thing, right? It's about an alien that gets its host, kills it, and then imitates them. Well, that's this oppressor right here, man. He will kill, unalive you, get you, remove you from the scene, and imitate you. That's what The Thing is about. How many of y'all seen the movie They Live, where you had an invading alien force come in, and they're pretending that they're imitating people, but they're really aliens. You know, that's this oppressor, man. He imitates you. This cat is imitating so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? He's imitating a black man, right? That's why he got the song called Impasse. And then I don't know. I'd like, you know, there's a famous video that's been circulating around, right? It was a video of a white guy in Portland, Oregon, like losing it with road rage, and he goes and tries to, you know, he drives through a parade. Well, the reason why I bring that up, right, is because in that parade, right, while he was driving, he was listening to music, and the whole time I'm hearing the music, I was like, it sounds a lot like rap music. When I looked, you know, I looked in the description, right, for the person that pulled up the video, he put the artist and the titles of the songs of the music that this devil was playing in the car. This music was country music, sir. I don't want it. This was country music, but it sounded like rap. So now they done turned the country music into rap. And you see these devils in the music videos wearing hats, dressing like this guy, rapping, but with a guitar, you know, with guitar country type beat in the background playing. Like, this oppressor, man, does everything they can to imitate you. And that should let you know something, right? That should let you know that you are the salt of the earth, man. You really, like, why you don't see them imitating the Jewish man. You don't see them out there wearing yarmulkes, right? Sean O'Malley was rocking what? Braids. He wasn't rocking no those little side locks, whatever they wear on the side, sir. You know? He was out there looking like this. He wasn't out there looking like, you know. Damn, what would I do with that? Even rocking the face tats, man. Like, good night, man. Like, who was rocking face tats originally? Oh, this is YouTube. Good night. Like, look at this cat. Like, who else they trying to imitate, you know? He's not copying the Jewish man. That's one thing you can say. But he will copy a so-called black man. You know, and that should let you know something, man. He'll rock face tattoos, you know, just like Mexicans, just like so-called black people, man. You know, so that should let y'all know something, man, that you're the chosen people, man. That you so-called blacks, Hispanics, are the chosen people of the Bible. You are the salt of the earth, not that Jewish man. That's the synagogue of Satan, man. The concert that was, you know, that was a little bit of it. Let me just find I'm trying to find that commercial, man.
No sweat.
What is it? Commercials. This is a campaign commercial. Let me see what this is.
Keep us together. We can be there
It's time!
We can be heroes. Just know.
As you saw, right, that like once again, that's what came to mind. That's what came to mind. It's just it was a big old propaganda machine, right? And subconsciously trying to, as was brought out, subconsciously just to get you to go and support their military, support what they do. Look at them as they're great and they can't be broken, right? As you saw the imagery, right? He showed the cat getting knee to the face, with the White House in the background, trying to make it seem like that's how big and bad America is, and you see them all beat up at the end, like they're not scared to fight, they're gonna fight, which is is nothing but a bunch of BS, man. Those oppressors are more scared than anything.
Right.
And they know it. They know their end is coming soon, So just all that, seeing that, right, is subconsciously to get you to see America as great, to not believe that America will ever fall, right? To think that America's gonna go on forever and that it can't be stopped. But go ahead, sir. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, that's exactly the Roman Empire model. That ain't random advertising. That's the military propaganda tied directly into the violence entertainment. And if you think about it, you watch men that beat each other bloody in an octagon, then right in between rounds, the government says join the army or become a warrior, save your country or be part of something bigger. And that's psychological association. Their masculinity, violence, adrenaline, patriotism, the warfare, and they blend it together into one emotional package.
Right.
And
that
that's
was with the music.
Recoupment. Yeah, that's the recruitment conditioning. It's like, you forget. And the crazy part is that, Donald Trump, he also he made his supporters forget that they're gonna have to get back in line and put away the red hats and to ask support from the government.
Right.
But while they were there, he's pumping them up. He's pumping them up to want to join the war, preparing for war, and if I could, Carnal, if you could give me Joel 3:9.
Come on.
Okay, no sweat. Let America feel your spirit, prepare war. That's what the Bible says. All right, but
Right, I got it right here. Sir.
You got it, Kana? Read
Yeah, I
it.
got it right here, sir. Okay. This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up.
Khan, is that 10 too?
Joel 3 and 9.
Read 10. Let me see if it's 10 too.
Okay. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Right. You know, America constantly is preparing the American minds for conflict.
Right.
Right. There is no peace, no righteousness, no stability, but there is war.
Right.
And Rome did the same thing. The gladiator games normalized violence and militarism, right? The empire glorified, the conquered culture. Young men were taught that honor came through combat, came through domination, came through bloodshed, and loyalty to Caesar. And today, Caesar is Donald Trump. You hear me? So, but the Bible says, prepare war. Read that again, not from the top 9 and through 10.
Kawakan. The book of Joel, chapter 3, verse 9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares.
America, you believe you're mighty, prepare for war. Get ready. Go sign up. Read verse 10.
Kawakan. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong.
Right? Get ready for war. Because you're gonna have to go out and fight.
Right.
World War III is at hand, and you must get ready. You understand? But this is a war it's not gonna last long. Because the same them same hooks that you beat into swords and hooks, you're gonna beat them into plowshares. And I can't recall what's the other one, right? But meaning that you're gonna be a servant. You're gonna be a slave. That is the future of America and all the Americans. When I say Americans, of course I'm speaking about the oppressor, right?
Right.
But yeah, get ready for war. America's proclaiming, right? Proclaim through the heathens. Donald Trump is proclaiming war because war is at hand.
Right.
Go ahead, Karna.
All right. War is at hand, and all these other nations know it, sir.
Right.
All these other nations know it. And, just like this oppressor, the other nations know it. The Arabs know it. The Asians know it. The East Indians, the Africans, they all know it. They're all going to war, getting ready for war, man. Getting ready. What's going on with the Iranians right now? They're getting ready for World War III, man. So, that even goes back with, the Asian community and everything. There right now, what's another form of entertainment right now that's trying to blind the world? The what is it? The World Cup, right? At the same time this is happening, you got the World Cup going on as well.
Yeah, kind of. That's what I was saying. They got the sports. you know, the sports obsession with, you know, they just had the NBA finals. Right now they got
Right.
the FIFA World Cup, you know.
Right. World Cup right now, which is
It's
who
all
brought it
it's all
out?
a
It was
distraction to keep people.
right.
No, go ahead, Kana. You got it.
I said like, yeah, I believe it was in Blackwatch. It brought out it's simulated warfare is what it is, man. You know, simulated warfare to keep you blind and asleep, man. So you know, to that I gotta say,
Your mindset. You ain't a real G, homie.
You know, so you know, so that right there, man, that's the mindset they're trying to put you on, to be blind and asleep. You know, what's the Bible say in Romans 13:11? For now it is high time to awake out of sleep, man. This is why this oppressor is doing everything and anything to keep us asleep, so that we don't wake up, man. They're doing everything they can. You want another proof of how they're trying to keep us asleep, man? They're really trying to shut down this boycott thing. They're really trying to shut down this boycott thing, and with you know Rick Chow. They trying to, you know, act like it wasn't racism behind, you know, the whole thing with Carmelo Anthony, and then they use this situation to pit the Latino community against the Black community. They get movements like Latinos for Trump, the MAGA movement, if you want to call it, and the FBA movement to get Blacks and Hispanics to hate each other, sir. You know, and that's evident, man. So you know that segues into the next part of this, right? Which is, you know, with that whole thing of the user. Before that, let me say this right here, man. I don't know if you saw this clip real quick before we get into it, since we were touching on the World Cup. No, let me find it. This is another thing that went viral. Dang, where is it? Never mind, I don't got that clip, but I do have this, right, to segue into the next part. I found, what's her name? Look at what this devil said. And that's these white supremacists, sir. This is the MAGA people at it again.
And she gets so much wrong in her video. It's vastly uneducated about the entire subject about indigenous history. Or so this lady is sitting here shitting all over Mexicans because in the past, you know, some of us descended from the Aztecs. And she gets so much wrong in her video because she is vastly uneducated about the entire subject about indigenous history or Mexicans' origins. And at the same time, she gets her information from just AI summaries. AI summaries that you can literally see in the screenshots to use as including on there. As if some random idiot commenting on Reddit that already has some racial biases or dislike things or has already consumed misinformation or debunked shit is going to be an expert. And then that's going to feed this summary. And that's just going to be objective fact, right? Like, I don't know where this woman went to school, but like, it's just absolutely embarrassing. Another thing is that she's assuming all Mexicans are like Aztecs or something like that, or they all descended from Aztecs. The Aztecs were a relatively small group when compared to the millions of other indigenous people within Mexico. There was hundreds of other tribes that were quite numerous, spread across a huge expanse of land. And the Aztecs were only part of the central portion. So, you know, ascribing their crimes to the millions of other people that had nothing to do with some of their practices is ridiculous. That's like blaming, you know, the Spanish's treatment of the Jews. In fact, they killed 50,000 of them, and blaming Great Britain for it, you know, back in the colonial era. What would that have to do with Great Britain? Then she brings up, you know, the misinformation such as like, oh, you know, everybody hated the Aztecs so much that's why they sided with the white people because they were saviors. And it's like, no, the Spanish committed a lot of genocide, ethnocide, forced assimilation, and atrocities. But what the Spanish did a lot of times is that they coerced people to join them. So they would do tactics, such as the Cholula massacre, where they went in and they massacred thousands of people and killed them. And, they, further consequences if somebody did not join up with them. And so it wasn't that a lot of indigenous allies simply just joined them because they thought that these people were fucking saviors or like gallant white knights. Other people simply joined out of opportunism because it was a Game of Thrones type of world. So they're like, okay, I can help take out my biggest rival, and then and I'll betray the Spanish. Obviously, that didn't pan out for them. I also find it humorous in her video. Yeah, people just can't criticize Mexicans, but they can everybody else. It's like, what are you talking about? You people have always just been extremely racist to us, no matter what we do in this country. Even though we are good people and we're hardworking, you guys have always just been shit to us. So I don't know what you're talking about, like, oh, you're not allowed to. It's like, you guys have always done this shit. But what's rich is that she's so threatened with the increasing demographic of Mexicans or Latinos or those descendants when her people are the ones that genocided our race. And we're not committing anything akin to that here at all. We're just settling and populating. But they're the ones that committed genocide. So this lady is sitting here.
So and I don't know if you remember this. This is a lady that made that whole infamous clip where she was calling men, what is it, broke ass niggas? You remember that lady?
Well,
here's another clip of her. I think there's a clip original. Let me see. Like this devil is a racist.
Aztecs in their culture today, and cartels as seen in the general populace and the culture. And I was also talking about how they ate people. And I've seen a lot of Mexicans saying, what are you talking about? White people are the ones that are cannibals. Well, I present you my evidence, okay? And you can go Google this for yourself. It's not found on some far-right publication or whatever. This is just the facts. This is just the history. Hate to break it to you, but we have Aztecs taking over our country. Well, I know how I feel about that, but it seems like people are not ready to take the Mexican pill yet,
Did she just say we have Aztecs taking over our country? That's what she said, right? I had to stop her right there. What race are Aztecs? Air quotes Aztecs, right? Because Aztecs wasn't even the actual name of the indigenous people she's talking about. They're indigenous. So how are indigenous people invading their own land? That's one.
We can shit on literally everyone else, but people seem to have no problem with Mexicans. But I present to you the evidence. So I said how the Aztecs were cannibals, so they would ritualistically do human sacrifices, and then they would eat the people. And there you go. You can read that for yourself. You can look it up for yourself. So cannibalism steeped in their culture.
Here's another thing, right, that I could bring out. It was brought out, right, that is actually not true about the Aztecs being cannibals and sacrificing people. That it was alleged, right, that the Spaniards made that up so that they could justify the evil they did to indigenous people. As the brother in the previous reel just brought out, right? The evil that Europeans did to indigenous people. And I notice this about oppressors every time. Every time we bring up anything that they've done, it's always, well, your ancestors did this. Y'all were doing this to each other, right? They don't even deny doing the evil that they did. It's always, well, your people did it too, so it's okay for us to do it. It's wrong. And we were wrong for doing that. No, it's they did it, so we did it. Okay, you can't say anything. That shows you the lack of compassion and humanity in these people, man. You understand? The lack of compassion and humanity, man.
And their religious practices. And as you can see, the cartels still employ these tactics under extreme violence and rituals. Cartels often use
this bimbo right here, right? Cartel culture is not indigenous culture. Cartel practices, the religious practice, Catholicism is not original Mexican culture, man. That's your culture. Being cartels, that's yours. Y'all were the original cartels, the gangsters, the criminals, man. We learned that from y'all. But you want to point the finger at us, man. And the show Lily Gadd is saying this about us shows you how she views us, right? How she views Mexicans. Because let me show you, and this should be an eye-opener for us, man. Because she said, right?
Terror-inducing methods like public beheadings, dismemberments.
This is what she said, right? There was another clip. Let me see if I can find it. That this brother made, right? Damn. Look at this clip right here where she said, this is what she said, right? And like I told you earlier, right, how this oppressor will do everything they can to pit Mexicans and black people against one another. Look at this.
Live with blacks than live with Mexicans. I would rather live with blacks than Mexicans. Not to mention there's a bit more familiarity with these people. They have been here for forever. And if the laws were just enforced, and if most of them were imprisoned because most of them are criminals, and they realized there's a new boss in town, you've been off the chain for long enough, they would not be a problem, and we could live in peace together. The Mexicans?
Hold on a minute there. She would rather live with black people than Mexicans because why?
Not to mention there's a bit more familiarity with these people. They have been here for forever. And if the laws were just enforced, and if most of them were imprisoned because most of them are criminals, and they realized there's a new boss in town, you've been off the chain for long enough, they would not be a problem, and we could live in peace together. The Mexicans, there is no affinity. There is no sort of we can coexist. We can get along as long as you are not messing with our girls. You stay in your place. You stick with your own. You go to work. You be a good citizen. You work. I'll tell you what, as all these Mexicans come into my country, I feel way more of an affinity with the blacks. I see like the working class blacks, and I'm like, damn. Honestly, there's no hate. Just don't commit a crime. Just stop with the behavior. Enough. Okay? Good Enough night. With the crime. If that was the case, we would have no issues. Just like in the 60s, they do their own thing. We do our thing. They've got their own stuff. We've got their own stuff. And there would be no issues. Mexicans, on the other hand, hate us. They have a historical hatred for us. Oh, because the evil whites came in and told them they had to stop eating people. Man, what those shitty whites. They came in and told us to stop butchering people. They came in and told us to stop eating people. They were so delicious, though.
Hold on a minute. We were eating people? Last time I checked, white people were eating black people. There's books published about white people eating black people during slavery. What?
Right. I mean, so this oppressor, right? When I brought out earlier, when he speak of a lie, he speaks on, you see the devil doing it again. You see her doing it again. And look at other images that she's done, right? I'm gonna share this right here. Look at this.
By the way,
like this is a white supremacist. She's a white supremacist. But she says she has affinity with black people. And she's saying Mexicans hate us. You know what's crazy? If I could, sir, Officer Coming, do you ever hear the arguments the FBA make? So, so you there? Oh, yeah. I think we okay, come. So, I don't know, you ever heard or seen the arguments that the FBA movement makes against Latinos, against Mexicans?
No, go ahead.
They always say Mexicans hate us. Mexicans hate black people. Well, you know what the same claims Latinos for Trump, like people that Latinos on that type of movement make? They say black people hate us. Y'all not seeing where it's coming from. This is who that's coming from. This right here, this white woman right here is the one that's saying it, because the white man is the one that pushes that lie and pits people against each other. That's what she's trying to do in her video, right? There's always been this pushback online, right? Where you see people come at Mexicans and people come at black people from each side to push this black versus Mexican hatred, man. And now I'm showing you in 2026 who the originator of that is. That's this oppressor, the white man, the white woman. This is how she sees black people. She's talking about she had affinity while putting on blackface and making fun of them. You understand? She just called Mexicans, brought out a bunch of lies about the Aztecs, calling every Mexican an Aztec because Aztec is the only indigenous tribe in Mexico for some reason, right? Not knowing a damn thing, right? As the previous brother brought out, right? The Kana brought out, like she just brought up, looked up Reddit history just to push lies in the narrative online to get us to hate one another. That right there should let you know, Raza, right? And now I'm gonna talk to my people, right? To Canales Mujeres, that this oppressor, this does not love you and does not have your is trying to use you, man.
And we don't have to go to Reddit. We could just go to the Epstein files, and we'll see all
go
the
to
proof.
Reddit.
We'll see all the proof of who the real cannibals are. They had old clips on Oprah, on national TV. They had old clips, and I think on Jenny Jones, one of them shows, right, where they had the little child. She's saying how the father took her hand to cut the baby's throat, and so they could sacrifice the baby and what have you. That sounds like the oppressor. That sounds like the oppressor made up those Aztec stories to justify the conquering of the natives and the indigenous.
Right.
That's exactly what that sounds like. And I'm not gonna say that that is not true, because even in the in our biblical records, you find where we were eating our kids and sacrificing our kids, but that's because we were worshiping other gods, and that's what happens, but the Lord judged the empire in Mexico, and it was prophesied that the conquistadors, these cannibals like Christopher Columbus and Hernan Cortez, and I forgot what's the other one that was over there in Peru. Oh man, I forgot his name. But anyways, the Bible prophesied that, and we don't return back to the Most High God, that we were going to be given unto our enemies, which is the oppressor. Who comes from, just paraphrasing, in the Book of Deuteronomy, the 28 and verse 49, right through 50. That says that a nation from afar whose tongue we don't know. You understand? Malama breaks this has a good ass breakdown on this precept, right? And that's the thing, that we don't know, because they burnt our records.
Right.
And the history, we're always going to learn the history from the conqueror.
Right.
But what that sounds like, what she was saying, they were, ripping up, cutting them in their chest, and they had an obsidian. Obsidian is sharp, but you need to break that chest that chest plate. You gotta break it, to get up in there. Like, obsidian is not gonna do that. But it does sound like the Spaniards. Francisco
Right.
Pizarro, there you go. The water, Michael Love. Pizarro. Pizarro is
Most high Christ.
another, you know, goddamn uh, um, beast that terrorized the Peruvians. But
Right.
that sounds like the oppressor. You know, you see these old clips that I'm telling you about Oprah with his little girls explaining how she, you know, the father grabbed her hand and cut the neck of a baby, and she's saying how they you know eat the babies and sacrifice the babies, you know, and that you know the same stories are found in the Epstein files. You know, so am I going to believe Reddit or am I going to
That's
believe the
crazy.
files that they don't want to come to light? I don't know. They don't want to expose those
Right.
files for a reason. It's going to show the true nature
Right.
of this goddamn beast.
I'll say it again, fool.
That is called the oppressor.
Right.
You got it.
You know, that's what she needs. She needs to shut up. That's all she needs to do. Get out the internet, man. Go talk about your ghetto white friends. You know, so like let me say it right. Go talk about your parts getting in the fights on the White House lawn. That's what you should talk about. Go talk about your counterparts that are rocking, you know, braids, looking ghetto as hell as y'all claim to have a problem with, you know, representing America, putting red, white, and blue. You should be more offended about that, Lily. Why aren't you talking about that? But you want to talk about Mexicans. You want to talk about black people. Why? Because you're the devil the Bible speaks of. And that right there, carnales y mujeres, that right there should let you know, right, that this oppressor hates us both, man. This oppressor hates blacks and Mexicans. And you know who else does too? Don't think for 1 second that you got an allyship with the Asian community, because the Asian community feels the same way too. The Asian community hates you too, Raza. I've seen a lot of y'all out there say that, nah, I ain't going to support the boycott. I ain't got problems with the Asians. Asians hate you too, Raza. And I got the proof. I could show you a few examples.
And if I could too, carnal, I seen a lot of propaganda in these Mexican social media pages where they'll share I seen an image, I don't even know if it's real. There in Mexico with the sombrero, cultural appropriation with the sarape, and in the comments they're like, oh yeah, you know, my people, and you know this and that, and you know they told this one cat that they're more Mexican than him, you know, but I think that's all propaganda,
right,
to kind of get Hispanics to love Asians, while Asians are wreaking, you know, they're terrorizing the black community, but also they terrorize Hispanics too.
Right. And let me show you.
You know, but somehow they're trying to have us love them. Goddamn Mongoloids.
Right. Let me show y'all something.
And this is the thing. This is the crazy part. Why? Were you gonna show that clip, carnal?
Salaki, go ahead, sir.
No, I said, were you gonna show that clip of the Mongoliones?
Yeah.
That spat on that one cat.
Oh yeah.
Were you gonna do it or not?
Yeah, I'm gonna show it right now.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Let me show y'all something. Now, mind you, this is not a Hispanic. This was an Arab they did this to. But look at what they said. And this is how much they hate you, Raza. This is right here.
and dissolve the bodies. The training.
Ah, damn it.
Hello. What are we gonna do about that?
See what I want to do, okay?
All right, you guys want to stay here so I can call the police?
I'm taking a walk. I don't know what you're doing. You're stalking me.
No, I'm not stalking you. I have it on video. You can't play that trick with me. That shit's not gonna work.
You can't play that trick.
It's all on video, bro.
I'm not your bro, okay?
It's all on video.
Don't call me bros, okay?
Now we're throwing racial remarks? Why are we being racist?
Well, that's what you are. I'm not being racist.
What?
You are.
What kind of person am I?
A spick.
A spick?
Good night.
Why are we throwing racial remarks out?
It's not racial.
So what's a spick?
What you are.
What am I? I got time.
What you are.
It's all good. I'll call the police.
For however many years, you don't even know what you are.
I'll call the police. It's all good. She spit in my car. I got it on video.
Enjoy the video, man.
No, I want to enjoy that shit. You guys are fucking sick people. Horrible people. No respect. No self-respect.
No respect for spicks.
Good night.
Why are you throwing racial remarks out?
I'm not throwing racial. That's just an acknowledgement of the people you are.
Okay.
You guys sit there and call each other spicks all the time.
What are you talking about? You don't know who I am. You don't know what I am. Why are you calling me that?
I'm not following you.
I said, why are you calling me that?
It's called freedom of speech.
That's
I
fine.
can call people whatever I want. You might not like what I call you.
Yeah.
But that's called freedom of speech.
Yeah, but you can't fucking sit here and call people like things that whatever you want. That's actually hate speech. You know, you can go to jail for that.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, you can.
People call me chick all the time.
I never said that. Well, that's
I'll
on
just
them.
tell you, society.
Okay, I didn't do it. Man, you know what's crazy about this? It all started with me trying to give you stuff. And this turned into your wife spinning in my fucking car. These fucking people just spit in my car. So ICE is recording me. I'll call the cops. I have you spit in my car. Call them, please.
So like, sir, did you hear that?
Go ahead, Carnal.
So did you hear what he said? He called him a racial slur and then said it wasn't racial.
Yeah, but there's a part where he tells them that he said something where he said you've been here for so long and you don't even know what you are or something like that. Assuming that
I played it.
Yeah, assuming that you know he's Hispanic.
Right, it's an Arab, but he's calling him that, right? But what gets me is calling him that repeatedly, right? And then says it's not racial. Like, do you not know what a racial term is? Do you not know the history of that word and how it has a racist history? When you talk about being a Moabite, that's the proof right there that they're Moab. God damn. Like, how much more, I can't even say the term. How much more special can you be? It's obvious, And why did he call them that? Because he hates so-called Hispanics. He hates so-called Latinos. He hates Mexicans. And Arabs sometimes look like Mexicans, look like Latinos. So he assumed he was a Latino and called them that, And then try to be passive-aggressive about it. I could tell you history, right? Like, in my own personal experiences with my family and what they went through, at the hands, going to the liquor stores and the hatred they've experienced from these shop owners, But there's more to it. Let me see if I can find more clips. Sir, you want to bring out, sir?
Yeah, I wanted to say that like that is the spirit of America. You know, everybody that loves America assimilates to America, and they're gonna love what America loves. They're gonna hate what America hates. But this is my thing, that every time I've seen so-called black disrespect a Hispanic, you know, they'll get checked by a so-called black. When a Hispanic disrespects a so-called black, they get checked by a so-called by a Hispanic. We check each other. But where are the goddamn mongoloids? Where are they? How come they're not coming out? You know, you fuck. So like you love our culture so much, but you never speak up. Are y'all gonna check these goddamn mongoloids and tell them, you know, to treat Hispanics better? You know, not to or Arabs, because you know he was an Arab. But are y'all gonna come out and say something? Blacks and Hispanics, we do it. You know, where are these Arabs to come out? I mean, so like these Mongoloids, whatever race they were, whether Chinese or Japanese, where are they gonna come out to hold their people accountable for their racism? You know, because the black community does it when their people demonstrate racism. Hispanics do it when, you know, we demonstrate racism. But when are the other nations going to start holding themselves accountable for the racism that they display against, you know, minorities? They just want to use us. They want to use our culture, but you know they don't want to speak up for us.
Right.
You know, they love our culture, but they don't want to say stop hating them. They got them hypocrites.
And look, there's this one. Bakisser.
In couple telling Hispanic lady and her son that they don't belong in their community and to stay back.
Okay, I call the police.
Her son then tries to explain to them that they're there to work.
I work here. No. I work here. Okay.
Please stay back. Stay back, please.
Yeah.
Please stay back.
No. Okay?
Okay, stay calm.
Yeah. Okay, llama a la policía. No. Lege.
Please stop filming.
No.
Mom, ya ponen.
No. No.
Mom, deja.
No.
Please stop that. Mom,
No.
call the police now if you.
Are you visiting here?
We working.
So that was a part.
Here's this Asian couple Hispanic lady and her son that they don't belong in their community and to stay back.
Okay, I call that.
Where was that one?
Is the same clip on there?
Say it. Just hung a sign. I was born. What's this one? Let's share this one.
What did you just say? In church. Hold on. You're in church. What did you just say? What did you say? What did you say?
I said I don't like Mexican.
Okay, you're in church. You're in church. You don't talk like that. Hey, this lady just said she don't like Mexicans.
The jokes really write themselves. Because how are you, as a Vietnamese woman, being racist to a Mexican man while uplifting Charlie Kirk?
Good.
So for real right now. This is someone who built a platform pushing anti-immigration rhetoric, talking about mass deportations, protecting the border. You really don't think he would have deported your stupid ass too? Because history says otherwise. Vietnamese refugees came here after the Vietnam long detention, and even
So that's another black. You were saying, sir? Sorry, Oscar. Are you there?
Yeah, no, I don't know if you heard the fear in that brother's voice. Like he's telling his mom to like stop recording.
Yeah, stop recording. Yeah.
Right, like that's the fear that America puts on Hispanics.
Look at this
You know,
one.
like if you do something against them or any other nation, you know, like something's gonna happen to you. And he like the reason why he's telling his mom to stop recording or what have you is because he's in fear that
Scared.
they're
Yeah.
gonna do something for his mom.
Yeah. Right. And now I'll say this, right? You see the fear, and then you see the arrogance, you know, where they think they're better, right?
Oh yeah.
And the way they talking to, like, how do you tell someone you don't belong in this country? You know, Mexicans, do you not know the history who Mexicans are? Right? And when it's the other way around, right? When Mexicans show racism towards Asians, best believe, you know, it's an uproar about it. You know, people getting an uproar. That we just had that incident at the World Cup where attention is brought to it, and immediately, right, people were chastising that brother for doing. I don't know if it's like I don't know if it's a brother.
Yeah,
guys.
God.
You know,
he got
I'll
fired.
say this: he got fired, right? And I'll say this, right? As much as you know, I would say push, fight, fire with fire. I understand when the Bible says don't render. Why the Bible says don't render evil for evil, because when you know, do things like that publicly, you stoop yourself down to their level. Now you're seen as bad as them. You know, when you can show that you're better and be professional about it. You know, you don't have to treat them with hatred, right? The Bible says abhor not an Edomite. Now I know what it means by that. Don't treat them with hatred. That's important. Don't mock them, you know, and you know, for at your place of business for no reason, you know, just because they're there.
Abhor means to commit crime against them.
Come on. It's a lot, sir. Yeah, I understand that. It's a lot, but I'm for context sake, because you know what people say. But you know, even then, be professional, right? Like, especially if you got a business, and especially if the internet can track you down and hunt you down, you don't want to do the same things they do against you, because you see what happens to them. You know, especially you know, when cameras are everywhere. But for this instance, I'm showing y'all how this community. Look at this clip I found right now.
Workers lazy. They're wrong. A Chinese company executive landed in Mexico. He's used to 12-hour days, weekend calls, and workers who stay until the job is done. He see his team leave at 5 p.m. sharp. He asked for Saturday overtime. They said no. He called his partner in Shenzhen and says, these workers here have no work ethics. But I don't think those Chinese bosses are right. Mexico has some of the strongest labor protections in the region. There are legal limits on overtime. Workers have a right to mandatory rest. There is a profit-sharing obligation that most Chinese have never heard of. None of this exists inside the Chinese corporate system. So when a worker leaves exactly at 5 p.m. in Mexico, he's not being lazy. He is operating correctly inside a legal framework his manager was never briefed on. But at the same time, the Chinese bosses isn't wrong to feel fraction, because it is true that people in China work overtime all the time, like it's normal. He's viewing a Mexican labor law difference, culture difference as the motivation problem. These Chinese companies that run successfully in Mexico learned the system. They hired Mexican operation managers who understood both sides. They set expectations before day one, not after the friction started. Here's what this means if you're a Mexican service provider. When your Chinese client says their workers are slow, 9 times out of 10, it's an expectation gap, not a performance gap. That's a gap you can close. And closing it is exactly the kind of value that keeps the Chinese client with you long term. Follow me if you work at the intersection of Chinese business in Mexico. I see this kind of cross-culture friction every single week. If you are a service provider who want to reach more Chinese clients, comment partnership down below. And tell me, have you ever had to explain Mexican labor law to a Chinese business owners? What was their reaction? Chinese?
Man. Like even that, right? Like they'll open their businesses in Mexico and then still call the workers lazy because they don't meet their expectations.
It sounds a lot like the oppressor.
Right.
You know, but if I could, right, like of course, you know, we're not Christians.
Right.
You know, if you know, you could defend yourself. That's in the Bible. You could defend yourself, right? But you know, when Malak is saying, "Don't render evil for evil," this is one thing that Blacks and Hispanics don't know. We don't know that if you serve the Most High God, you could pray to the Most High God, And your enemy, how does it say, Salakia? Your adversary will become an adversary to the Most High God.
Right. Right.
You hear me? Like, you don't have to, commit a crime against them.
Right.
If you serve the Most High God, the Lord will be on your side. All you have to do is just pray to the Lord, but you're praying for the wrong things. You're praying for equality and unity with the other nations when the Lord wants you to have enemies so he can destroy them if they come against you, so he could be glorified. Because your enemies, your adversaries are the Most High God's enemies and adversaries. Well, but if you keep believing that everybody's equal and what have you, the Lord is never gonna be able to show you that he loves you. You hear me?
Right. Yeah, Khan.
Oh, you got it, Karnal. I was gonna say if you want to wrap it up too, because
we're at the top of the hour. Yeah, Khan concert. And with that, like what I'm trying to show right with that is that what these nations are showing us, the best thing we can do is that blacks and Hispanics, we should unite. Black and brown should unite. Blacks and Mexicans should unite, and stop thinking that these other nations, just because thinking that them hating this white man hating white, this oppressor hating black people, right? These other nations hating black people. Don't think for 1 second they're not going to hate you too. Learn the truth of what the Bible's saying, right? And understand that we are brothers and sisters. We're a lot closer to each other than we think, man. And the best thing we can do, and here's my take on it, right? The best thing we can do today is support the boycott, and not knock them brothers and sisters for boycotting, Asian businesses in response to all the hate the Asian community shows them, for justice for Cyrus, right? In response to what Rick Chow did. All the hate, you see the responses that they're giving, man. And so yeah, with that clip, for time's sake, I'll bring it on another video, but that's more of the point, right? That don't do what that cat did.
If you want to keep it rocking, Carnal, no sweat. But I was just gonna call it a night. It's a lock you.
I'm about to call it a night too. Yeah, the point is, real quick, is don't do what that cat did at the fucking game where you just did the thing with the eyes for no reason. Just so people don't, you know what I mean? Like that cat, yeah, the internet came down on him, man. But with that being said, man, that we should definitely unite with our black brothers and sisters and support them in this boycott. The Latino community.
That's the crazy part. The crazy part is that if we mock any nation, we get canceled. Right. Nations mock us up and down and make fun of us, and nobody says a word. Like they support it. They turn it into a meme and what have you. That's how you know that America only hates blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Right.
China is known to be America's one of America's number one enemy, right? When they went to fight out there in China, man, you should have seen, like, they have a museum on these war, what do you call it? These machines and things like that, right? That they had built underground where you will fall and it'll poke you with needles that have venom, or feces, and all crazy things. We never done that to the American soldiers,
right?
But yet we're the ones that came back with the American soldiers and had to face discrimination, while Asians are accepted. And they have don't forget, stop Asian hate.
Right, they got that. That's the other thing, right? The stop all that, exactly. Like the internet's response to that cat shows the difference, right?
God.
lady, the business owners in China, ain't nobody care, you know. All them cats, the man and the wife walking the dog, talking. Like, what's gonna happen in there? They gonna be, you know, are they gonna get canceled? Who knows?
Right.
But they're showing you how they feel about you, Raza. They're showing you that they don't think, you know, any less. They see you the same as your black brothers and sisters, man. This whole time you're thinking you're different. They're showing you how they see you the same because they spiritually know who you are. Meanwhile, they'll rock you know, the cholo style, talking about, you know, that's what Mexican culture is, right? Saying they're showing love to Mexicans when they're cosplaying you, man. But let a brother, you know, let a brother rock a sombrero. Y'all go World War III on that.
Right.
But it's just, you know, that's where y'all should point the energy and anger to, outrage to, man. To everyone else, man. The people that actually do the harm to you. This oppressor, man. But with that, man.
And so, like my real quick,
up,
you know,
man.
you want to
Now's
add
the high
on
time
to
to
what
wake
you were
up.
saying. You know, when you were saying that we have to support the boycott, and this is a lot of business opportunities for both Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You know, you like we can become, you know, our sisters can become some type of technician. You know, this is a big opportunity to start your own business right now. Be entrepreneurs, take over the business and support, you know, our own communities, whether it be Black and Hispanic, you know. But we have to separate from these nations that despise us.
Right.
And with that, go ahead, Carnal Salakia.
Nah, with that, man, that could with that concludes tonight's episode of the Inconvenient Truth, man. Stay tuned, carnales y mujeres. We're gonna be back at it again next Wednesday night, 10 p.m. Subscribe, like, share, and subscribe. Be live again on Facebook, but you know, as you see, they cut our live off, man. But we're live on YouTube and IG, man. This is another episode of the Inconvenient Truth. Look for us on media platforms. The Inconvenient Truth 1969. If you got any questions, want to contact us, you can DM us on all those platforms. Also, we got our email account, which is the inconvenient69@gmail.com. You can reach us right there, man. But we going live every Wednesday night, 10 p.m. PST. With that, man, I want to say Yahweh Hashem Shai Barakatah to the canales. Yahweh Shema Latah Bashim Shai to the mujeres. Go ahead, Afshakamada. Oh, did he drop?
No, so like a carnal, you could end it. I would say shalom to all the carnales. Yahweh Hashem Barakatah. Shalom to all the sisters. Yahweh Shema Latah Bashim Shai.
All right, with that, man, we'll be back at it again next week. Lord Allah, Rasa. Shalom.
Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Jehová, tu Dios, te ha escogido para hacerle un pueblo especial. Un pueblo. No está hablando de los chinos, no está hablando de los árabes, no está hablando de los japoneses, de nosotros. Nosotros somos la gente más odiada en este mundo, más odiada. Y toda la gente de...
Hey, listen, brothers and sisters, man. If you like what you hear, hit the subscribe button, man. Subscribe to this channel. And also, please, go to isubk.com and pay your tithe drop me some cash so we can move around this planet like we need to, man, and do the things we need to do.
They're one West. They're one West. They're one West. They're